Welcome back. And now we're switching gears to another interesting conversation we have this morning on reclaiming the image of Africa through art. Now, for centuries, Africa's image, has usually been defined by outsiders, but today, African artists, poets, and cultural entrepreneurs are stepping forward to reclaim, the continent's story using art as a powerful tool. And one of such voices is Tony Eteka Fernandez. He's a poet, a broadcaster, cultural entrepreneur, and founder of the Africa for You Association. He's an artist and entertainment consultant joining us this morning. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here live in your program, and greetings to all your viewers as well.
All right. Now, Mr. Fernandez, you've contributed to global conversations, particularly through your Africa for You and your radio talk show. And, you spotlight success stories of Africans. I'd like to know what drives you to use media and storytelling to reclaim Africa's image.
I think the main driving force started probably about 14 years ago. I had graduated from the University of Lagos in Nigeria. I moved down to the UK. I was born in the UK anyway. And at that time, the internet was still kind of like something new, a new faced. But I was a bit frustrated about the lack of channels, mainstream channels, and upcoming channels which promoted the true life and success stories of African and Caribbean achievers around the world, and also promoting positive images of Africa. So at the time, I set up my first international blog, which was aimed at promoting the true life and success stories of African and Caribbean achievers around the world, but also initiatives around the world. And I'm proud to say, till this day, that blog is still live and kicking, promoting our stories, promoting our initiatives, and giving the rest of the world a more refined and pure picture of the image of Africa and Africans.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fernandez. We would like to know who actually influenced your artistic and journalistic voice, and what role did those mentors play, seeing how far you have come?
I first give respect to my parents who are based in Lagos and in Nigeria, both my father and my mother. At a very, very young age, my father used to take me to cultural events in Lagos, Calabar events in Lagos. So then it became a subconscious process of being aware of identity. And then on the other hand, my mother noticed I had a flair for writing at a very early age. So at the age of 9 years old, I had already started writing, and then she urged me off. So as the years unfolded, the whole essence of like my subject matters and metaphors in my writing was all about promoting Africa and Africans as well, and also kind of like just giving a positive, more positive image itself. It's a very, very long journey because when I then moved to the UK as well, I was part of a radio station, and the radio station was a station which was kind of like broadcasted in different parts of the world, and I started my own African radio show. And with this show now, I was able to bridge and promote upcoming African artists on this platform, organize events, organize initiatives. But in 2 years' time, the station got closed down. And I asked myself, what next? What am I going to do next? And it was more like a calling, but I approached my MP with the quest of organizing Black History Month celebrations at the UK House of Parliament. And so, for the very first time in October, I think it was 2013, I organized the Black History Month celebrations at the UK House of Parliament. Since then, for very many years, and I am the first Nigerian ever to do so.
All right. Now, from all that you have done over the years, I'd like to know what misrepresentations of Africa have you found most persistent in arts and media, and how do your initiatives directly respond to them?
That's a very, very good question. The misrepresentation sometimes unfold through the stereotypes that people have of Africa, especially people who have never visited the continent before, of being backward, sometimes still living on trees. Sometimes people think that there's not much of a civilization there itself. But that this misinterpretation is something which is not just restricted to Africa alone. So how this still boils down to why I set up my blog in the very first thing was to promote our stories, initiatives, events, and sometimes places within Africa as a means of information, educative information, and to show the world what we're all about. Um, on a more personal note, I think it's more to do with like I want to get to know who they really are, people from other races, backgrounds, and I want to I want them to know who I really am as well. And the exchange of cultures goes in that process, and be able to like convince them about their stereotypes are not always valid. Uh, so that's part of it.
Now, I heard you mention about the UK House of Parliament work. So we would like to know more about the Black History Month and how far you have gone and how much it portrayed Africa, especially in diaspora.
Yeah, thank you. So I first started organizing the Black History Month celebrations at the UK House of Parliament in October 2013, sponsored by an MP who was the MP of Reading in Berkshire at that time. And the whole idea then was to like bring speakers, historians, global thought leaders, bold storytellers from different parts of Africa who lived in the UK, who were promoting true life stories, sometimes through their history itself, but also through the things they were doing, and having an audience around the world to come and learn more about Africans and their stories, not just past and history, but also current achievers in the current world today. So what it did, it created a kind of like a bridge for more understanding, for more community cohesion, and more awareness, more brand awareness. So it's something people look forward to every single year. Nigerians, Ghanaians, Tanzanians, Kenyans, East Africans, that bridge was important. So it's grown. I'm not sure if we're going to be organizing it this year. We're still looking for an approval. But my belief is that once you have a purpose and a passion in life, and it's part of your calling, you don't always necessarily have to wait for authorities to give you the go ahead. You can do, life now today is about be the change you want to see in society, no matter what part of the world you are.
Versed in, different art forms, which medium do you think is offers the most impactful way to reshape these stereotypes that you've mentioned about Africa? Which one of them, passes across the message the most?
That's a very good question. I would say it's my blog, which has been running now for 13, 14 years, because every single week there are always posts about the stories of people making a difference in the diaspora, Africans in the diaspora, but also people back home, their positive stories, historical places about places in Africa as well. But it's also my podcast YouTube channel, which I set up 4 years ago, which is a weekly channel also aimed at promoting the true life and success stories of people from Africa around the world, having guests on air to promote their stories, their true life initiatives, but also the stories of where they come from as well. I travel a lot as well. Traveling is one of my hobbies. I've traveled to 41 countries. So each time I go on a travel, no matter how brief or busy it is, I do take time out to interview the locals about their stories itself, find out about the history of the place and everything. So we live in a day and age now where we can maximize the media and all the features that come with it. So it's mostly my blog and it's also mostly my podcast. Uh, Most importantly, also interaction with people every day is a way of getting them to understand more about you, your history, and your past. No matter what country we come from on earth, we are a brand from where we come from, and we have to like represent and inform people in the best way possible.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. And yes, we understand that you've worked in the UK, Europe, and Nigeria. We want to know at what point has there been any form of diaspora to home partnership, and how were all those partnerships structured?
Um, is that for myself or generally speaking? So in terms of partnerships itself, at the moment, especially in recent years, several diaspora commission. I'll talk about Nigeria now, where there's some diaspora commission states which have been set up to bridge diasporans from other states living abroad, look into things like investments, look into things like trade, look into things like tourism, and all sorts of things. I mean, only 2 months ago, the governor of Cross River State was in the UK. He was also in the States. I think he's in Canada this month to create a bridge between diasporans living in the diaspora and see how what we can do back home to make home a better place as well. On a personal level, I have organized award initiatives in Lagos to promote the voices of the Nigerian youth, and I have quite a number of mentors in Lagos and also in Calabar and also in Port Harcourt. The vision of the future also now is to kind of like create a sense of empowerment for the youth back home and a bridge to the diaspora and people back home as well. And there's example of people, business entrepreneurs here in the UK, to playing their part also to make that bridge better. The shaping of our nation, the shaping of our country is not down to the government alone. It's a process which involves everybody, and we all have to play our parts, especially if things are not working in the right direction. We all have to play a part in being the change we want to see in society. Very, very essential in life. It's all about making an impact more than anything else and leaving a legacy for our children.
That is very correct, Mr. Fernandez. Now, there are challenges. I mean, in everything we do, there are always challenges. So I'd like you to shed light on the specific challenges that African artists like you face when trying to tell our stories, and how these challenges impact the ability of African artists to, reclaim the continent's image.
Okay, so sometimes the specific challenges, sorry, I start with myself, and this can be related to other artists as well, is that when you're on a journey trying to like pursue your mission in or purpose in life, trying to promote your heritage, your writing, your content, your art, sometimes even when you're making an impact, it might feel as if there's not much appreciation, acknowledgement wherever you live. And this is common with very, very many artists. I speak to many artists. I speak to a lot of people who are upcoming entrepreneurs as well, you know. But people are always watching And you have to ask yourself, why am I here on earth? What's my purpose in life? So that can be very psychologically discouraging. But once you're able to answer the question, why am I doing what I'm doing right now in my life? And what impacts will it make? Then that really kind of gives more fuel to your passion in that journey itself. So that's what a lot of people struggle with. Um, Also, we live in a day where there's so much content out there, so people have a choice of what to consume into their lives itself. And so things which are more impactful sometimes might not have a broad audience, it might just have a special niche audience. But like I said before, always ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? And what benefits is it to the community? And then in the journey along the way itself, things just gradually start to fall in place, and you get connected to the right kind of people with a similar mindset, and the journey becomes lighter.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Fernandez. While you were speaking, you were talking about empowerment, investment, and how you have, partnered with home and people in diaspora. Now, we want to know what are the metrics to measuring those who are supposed to, partake in this empowerment? What are the metrics? Who is supposed to partake in it? Where are you investing in? Is it in film? Is it in music, in news? Which way? Like, what's the procedure like?
I don't necessarily have a manual script for the procedure itself, and I'm not really an expert in this area. But what I do know is that once you have a vision and a call and a calling to empower community or communities, you go on that journey itself, and you along the way you find people who have a similar mindset, a similar passion, a similar vision towards making that journey lighter and making the vision brighter itself. uh, so I don't want to be too kind of like put it to too scripted itself. uh, if you can imagine the flip side, sometimes in life you have governments out there, local authorities who are meant to make change in an environment and empower people. And sometimes it's all talk and nothing gets done itself. So I'll just say, have your vision, have your journey, and surround with people who are on that similar path in making a difference. One of the things which has surprised me in life, and which I would like to share with all our listeners today, is that you'll be surprised that when you gather two or three people together who have a similar cause to you to empower communities, you'll be surprised how much can be done, even with very limited resources.
Mr. Fernandez, I was talking about the younger generation and talking about everyone is using social media and digital platforms now. Do you see a growing movement among African youth, and how is it looking like for you?
Yeah, there's a growing movement with social media among the young people, and it's a positive thing. It's something to be embraced because there are features out there which people can, maximize and make the most of to make life easier for the artistry. Whether you're a performing artist, whether you're a skit maker, whether you're an inspirational speaker, whether you're a podcaster, and some of these things are free, easy to learn, accessible, and you're able to create an audience. And many of our young African youth have been able to make an income out of these streams. So it's something I embrace all the time. Obviously, I'm not a youth anymore, but when we had the first COVID breakdown, I think 3, 4 years ago, I took time out to go on about 12, 13 courses. So I see myself as a self-taught person, and we need technology these days to move forward as well. We live in a world today where we need to learn unlearn, and then relearn again. Moving on with the times, being adaptable, and being innovative.
Mr. Fernandez, now we'd like to know, let's take it forward to Nigeria and the government. Is there some form of policy or reform that you think that can be put in place, to better enhance or help Africa and the arts, so to say?
It will be well done to the governments at the moment. It will be. I was just thinking the other day. It will be lovely, even on state government levels, for state governments policies to be put in place where state governments would like kind of like have a bridge connection with people in the diaspora to do with the restructuring of states back in Nigeria before you even talk about the federal level itself. And maybe like having constant engagements, meetings, and that all the infrastructure in the states in the country will be something which is due to a partnership with professionals living in the diaspora who can bring their expertise back home. The second thing as well is that it would be nice for us to invest more in tourism for the whole country and the state level as well. Tourism is always a subtle way that bridges in and brings in business itself. We want Nigeria to be even more marketable to many countries around the world. So little things like this make a very, very, very huge difference for the bigger picture in life. Sometimes when we have experts and experts on ground, and these are put into policies, it makes the process of moving forward a lot more easier.
We let you go. If there is one thing that you want the world to understand about Africa through art, what would it be?
African arts, I think many people do understand already anyway, but African art is beautiful. African art is ageless and priceless. We've heard about the Benin Kingdom, which is priceless, with its artifacts around the world. Africa is the home of the richest man that ever existed on the face of the earth. Mansa Kanka Musa is the home of legacies which have been created and are continue to be created itself. But most importantly, Africa is there for us to promote, cherish, and love those who live in Africa and those who live outside Africa by being that voice to represent our countries and our continents the best way possible and to use our resources to build our nations and not wait for the governments to sort out things, not always to have an excuse to say, okay, things are bad or things are rough. But what am I doing? What am I doing right now in my life to make our place, a country, a better place? That's the question every Nigerian and every African should be asking and doing, no matter where you live. What part am I playing to make our nation a better place? Whether it's through the arts or whether it's through other different spheres of life.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Fernandez. Now, to Nigerians watching you this morning and to youth that are looking up to you, what word would you say to them? People that wants to be like you, wants to do more, especially for Africa, what would you say to them? And what is next for Mr. Fernandez?
So the Nigerian youth, the people who've called you lazy before, you are not lazy. You are the future. You are the majority of our nation and you're the future. You are children itself. You're skilled, you're beautiful. Don't be discouraged by the frustrations or the challenges you find around you sometimes. Maximize the limited potentials you have right now because we're living in an age of technology. We should use it smartly You know, life now is not about, it's not always about how hard you work, but it's also about how smart you work. Be creative, think outside the box. But most importantly, and this is very, very important for the Nigerian context specifically, be yourself. Stop following other people. Ask myself, who am I? Be yourself. Live your calling. Live your purpose, live your calling, and be encouraged through that process. What's next for me right now at the moment is we just finished a global online summit a few days ago. God willing, we're hoping to take it to Nigeria next year. Um, I'm also looking to partner more with media outlets in Nigeria to to kind of bridge the voices of people in the diaspora and let people know how other Africans and Nigerians are living outside the world itself. So just stay inspired and everything. And if people want to reach me, they can always reach me, especially the youth, for any guidance in the future itself, because I think sometimes we get confused about our path moving forward. So they can reach me on my website, which is www.myfernandez.com.
Very lovely conversation we've had with you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much
Thank
and
you.
keep amazing work.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fernandez. Thank you. And we've been talking to Tony Eteka Fernandez on reclaiming the image of Africa through arts. And thank you for staying glued to your screen. And very soon we're going to be going into political circle with Luke Umbo. Do have a great watch.